In the meantime, Super Bowl winning Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes, he can afford to buy a lot of Tesla stock if it looks like he's in for an historic payday. Certainly after this last night. Take a look.
Mahomes looking to flip, takes it in for the touchdown.
All right, well, the football star could land the NFL's first $200 million contract, which, of course, is just everyday change to my next guest, the sports agent and DLE agency founder, Doug Eldridge. Doug, good to have you. That sounds like a eye-popping kind of a contract, but I guess not out of the question, huh?
No, sir, it's not. That would buy a lot of JCPenney pullovers or Tesla stock by any measure. When you consider that at 24 years, 138 days, Patrick Mahomes just became the youngest player in NFL history to win both the league MVP and a Super Bowl trophy. When we talk about the NFL, it's 32 quarterbacks in a nation of 327 million Americans. So he's 1 in 10 million, and when you look at his numbers, he's arguably 1 in 100 million, and he's facing a historic payday on the near horizon.
You know, it is what it is, but he was among the lowest paid, maybe owing to his youth, quarterbacks out there, and now we will be among the highest. How does that sort out when they get a big contract like that? Does it take the oomph out of them? Does it change how they play? I guess it depends on the quarterback, right?
It does. Well, two things. First of all, the contract that he's playing out, that was his rookie deal. He was the 10th pick of the first round in 2017. He signed a 4-year deal, and as that pick, that means the team had an option for the 5th year. So that was a slotted contract, meaning the amounts were largely predetermined. So he is playing on a low number relative to his accomplishments and of course, the championship that the team won last night. In terms of the attitude and the execution once they get that big payday, that's dependent on each player. And all we have thus far are high water marks when it comes to Patrick Mahomes. His attitude, his ability, his off-field appeal, and his on-field execution. So I would only imagine that at just shy of 24 and a half, this guy's got a decade plus of excellence ahead of him.
Could I switch gears if you don't mind on the whole Tom Brady thing? The way it was teased last night to the Super Bowl. I mean, what is he saying? Is he likely to stay with the Patriots? There's talk that it would be a $30 million deal, which I guess was kind of like what he was, giving up in order for the team to share the loot with others. But can you update me on that?
Well, if we knew that, we would have bought the Tesla stock long before it hit 7,000.
You're right.
It's interesting to know, though, and Tom Brady is not only the champion of all champions. There can be no question he's the greatest quarterback, and I would offer the greatest player in NFL history. But one thing he's done along the way is give what we call a hometown discount. He said, I want my legacy to be to surpass Joe Montana, to surpass the 49ers, to surpass the Steelers. I want to go out the greatest of all time, judged by the number of championships that I won and the pride that I brought to this city. In order to do so, because the collective bargaining and the salary cap establishes essentially a budget or a ceiling that teams can spend each year, he consistently took less than the market would have provided. And like you, I love the free market. He could have maxed out every year, but chose not to, and in so doing, kicked more back into the coffers so that the team could acquire more weapons around him. Well, Neil, at 42 and 6 championships in, he doesn't have that need anymore. Now it's an opportunity to say, I no longer need to give that hometown discount. Hopefully the Patriots will pony up. And if not, then it's time for the first time in my career of almost 20 years to consider what the other options are. I don't know where he's going to go, but as an agent, I hope he maximizes his value. As a fan, I hope he stays and brings one more title to the Patriots.
All right, now there is the issue at his age, and he's a young, 42 or whatever he is, but that he'd have to start from scratch going anywhere else. He'd be unlikely to do that, wouldn't he?
There's an argument both for and against. He's not going to go to a cellar dweller and build them back up because he's 42, not 24. He would ostensibly go to a team that has all the pieces in place, but for that quarterback with the poise, the pedigree, and the performance to take them over the top. Versus staying in New England where he has the familiarity. The program and the system was built around him, and he has all the tools, hopefully with a couple more offensive weapons, to succeed. But again, this is a situation where at 42 and with a couple of young children and a mother that thankfully has overcome illness back on the West Coast, he's in a great position because for the first time in his career, he has leverage. And in any negotiation, that's the ultimate catalyst, and Tom Brady has it for the first time, and I hope he uses it.
That's well put. That's very well put. Doug, I always learn something. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me, sir.
All right, Doug Eldridge.